how do you see things right now in America? If I woke up from a coma and I had been lights out for the election, and you just told me Trump's back in there, and obviously you gotta put a little bit of perspective on the ball when you tell me what happened here over the last 9 months. But what's gone on? Where are we as a country right now?
Well, if you would woke up and came, I might ask you. You might say you might want to go back to sleep for a while. I mean, I, I had thought we had reached as a country a low point in the first term. I didn't think we could go lower. We've gone lower, and my fear is that we could go lower still in this. Both through a combination of acts of Donald Trump and the Republican Party, but also an abdication of courage and truth telling by uh, by a large part of the media. That to me, Donald Trump is Donald Trump. Um, but the most concerning thing is the acquiescence to him and the other Republican threats to just sort of abandon the First Amendment, to abandon what's decency, to abandon what we want. I would say to you, if you woke up, like, we're at the probably the most obviously the most pivotal point in time of my lifetime for our American democracy. I would also say if you went to sleep thinking it could never happen here, we've all been wrong about that. I mean, and you've been in politics and probably watched it ever since you were young, just like me. I understand history of America as well as anybody, and the problems we've had and the things we've gone through. I never thought this could happen. I never thought this could happen in America. I never thought that we would get to this point. I can see a first term of Donald Trump, but I thought we as Americans would learn our lesson and not do it again. Um, s- it is surprising to me that a modern democracy such as ours is put in this place. We're no longer, in my view, a leader of the democracy in the free world. We're not the leader of democracy in the free world as we've been since post World War II. We're not that. Nobody in other modern democracies is trying to copy what we're doing anymore. They ought to be wearing bracelets that say WWDTDO, which would be, what would Donald Trump do? Do the opposite. Um, that's what they're sort of looking at. So it's crucial moment. It's a concerning moment. It's, as I said, it's not a moment that I envisioned we would be going through as Americans, but we are. And the question becomes, what do we do?
When you assess this all strategically, if we were sitting in a room and we are laying out in a world that we hope comes to be the right way to approach Trump, to engage MAGA, to survey the landscape, I think you have the media is a major actor on that battlefield. The Democratic Party is a major actor on that battlefield. Obviously, Trump is a major actor on that battlefield. His henchmen and women are major actors on that battlefield. How do you see the totality of the political battle space in the country right now? And as a person who wants to defeat MAGA, what are the first things that have to happen in order to succeed in doing that? Comprehending, of course, that we didn't get here overnight and we're not getting out of it overnight and nothing's getting fixed tonight. But where do you start?
So, I mean, I think these are great questions. And I think everybody that's thoughtful about this and is concerned about this may have a slightly different answer in this. I think the thing that you mentioned is we didn't get over here. We didn't get here overnight. And it's not purely a function of Donald Trump of what's the problem here. I mean, to me, I think about American politics like tectonic plates that that we have too often just point to the earthquake and point to the volcano and don't understand that tectonic plates have been shifting for a while, that these things could have been predictable if we had sort of really been attuned to the shifting plates of America, both our economy and our politics and all everything that includes in this. And so I think understanding that, I think that how we arrived here was, I think that we never dealt with race. We've never fundamentally dealt with race in America, really in a full fledged way, in a really way like a Truth and Reconciliation Commission in South Africa might deal with it. It's like, let's be honest about this. Let's all agree that this happened. And then what do we do? Who do we hold responsible? How do we hold that responsible? The problem in American history is that after the Civil War, when we thought, okay, we're moving on to the next chapter, then the Reconstruction efforts started, which were going to be helpful. And then they got all shut down through political compromise and political justification. And then when we went on for decades, and then that led to civil rights. And then we thought, okay, we got through civil rights, and then we still haven't dealt with it. And so there's so many elements we haven't dealt with. Our economy, which hasn't served for um, more than 30 years, sort of the average middle class, working class person in the country. Agreements were made, rich people got wealthier, and the working class, and I don't mean just white working class, it's whites, Hispanics, Asian, Black, whoever, was left sort of out of the picture, angry. I mean, the average income hasn't risen at all for the middle class in this country for 40 years, basically, while the the millionaires and billionaires have seen a 1,000% increase in their income. And I think all of those things get us to the point of, okay, we got to understand that we got to do that. And so what do we do out of this is, I think we're in such a divisive period. It often is difficult to have conversations with people of your opposite about politics, or even people that you think are good people that may have voted one way or the other. And I know a lot of people, I have family members that voted for Donald Trump. Is you can't, in my view, the way out of this doesn't start with politics. It starts with something bigger, starts with values that they may agree upon, that you can actually start to bind with people and to achieve a sort of a gut level heart bond with them. And then at some point you can get to politics, but you're going to have to create that bond with people first over things that we all think would be obvious, the ideals and values of our democracy in this. And I think this is not we're going to fix this problem in the midterms. The midterms are important, are very important, because I think it's the only thing right in the near future that can hold the Republicans and Donald Trump accountable in some way and stop some of the madness. But it won't be fixed in just by Democrats succeeding in the midterms, and it won't be fixed by electing a Democrat president in 2028. We really have to think about this like a long, I mean, again, like South Africa, and how do you emerge? How do you take something, emerge from a corrupt regime and a place where many citizens acquiesced to it, and how are you going to emerge from that? And again, my feeling is, yes, we need to have political conversations, and yes, we need to speak truth to power, and all of those are important. And yes, we have to hold not only Trump and the Republicans accountable, we have to hold the media accountable in how they're doing it. I have a funny story I've never told anybody, Steve, and I don't think I've told you actually this privately. Right after Donald Trump took office in 2017, I was sitting with all the senior management and the anchors at ABC when I was chief political analyst at ABC. And I looked at this in an expectation of what he might do and all that. And I said, I think it would be really important to sort of have somebody here or people here understand how the press should cover a government in an emerging totalitarian state. How did the press cover the government in that? And when I said that, everyone at the table looked at me like I was from Mars. Like they looked, and I was like, what? Like that's what could easily happen here. And they were like, no, people were like, no, we're just going to go on about our business, covering Republicans this and Democrats that, and all the ways they do that. And I think the media, some members have been caught up, but I would say the Democratic Party, the leaders of the Democratic Party, and the leaders in the media have been in la la land about what's going on for too long. I think they thought, oh, I'll find reasonable Republicans and we'll get through this. And I think they were, whether it's willfully ignorant or just ignorant of the fact that the world had changed, and they were really, really slow in catching up to how much the world had changed and how much our democracy was at risk.
I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning. I invite you to join this community where I promise to be honest, blunt, and direct about what is happening in this country. America is in crisis. Follow and subscribe to this channel and on Substack. Thank you.